All of Israel waited more than 49 days to see what started to unfold in these last 6 days. The hostages are starting to be released. This is what happened. Last week, Israel struck a temporary ceasefire deal with Hamas for the release of 50 hostages over a period of 4 days in exchange for 150 criminals. This ceasefire had the potential of being extended by an extra day for every 10 hostages that would be released. Last Friday, right at the moment that Shabbat began, the first group of hostages was released. 13 Israeli women and children were released in exchange for 39 Palestinian prisoners. On Saturday night, this deal was supposed to continue, but right at 4 o'clock, the designated time of release, Hamas claimed Israel violated the ceasefire rules by withholding humanitarian aid trucks. This proved not only false within the hour, but it also invoked outrage from Egyptian and Qatari officials who went down to the border to pressure Hamas into holding up their end of the deal. Close to midnight, the second group of hostages was finally released. The hostages were handed over to the Red Cross inside Gaza, and they transferred the hostages to the Rafah crossing and into the hands of the IDF. They were there each assigned a specially trained female soldier who guided them through the process of being returned to their families in the different hospitals throughout Israel. The hostages are physically and psychologically cared for by highly trained professionals in order to help them reintegrate into society. The first reports are slowly coming in of the horrors that these civilians endured during their captivity. They were kept in tunnels, and most had not seen any daylight for the entire duration of their captivity. They also were deeply malnourished and had not been able to shower or clean themselves at all during their 7-week captivity. The 12-year-old Ethan Yahalomi shared that he and other children were forced to watch the footage of the horrors that Hamas committed on October 7th. And every time they would cry due to the trauma that was being inflicted, Hamas would point a gun at them and order them to stop crying. These hostages need your continued prayer as they are working through the traumas of their captivity, as well as the traumas of the realization that their homes are destroyed and many of their family members were murdered on October 7th. I want you to notice something, though, about this powerful woman that was released named Adina Moshe. As she is stepping out of the vehicle while being handed over to the Red Cross, Adina slaps the hand of the Hamas soldier away from her. When I saw this, I thought to myself, this woman endured great atrocities over the last 7 weeks, but her spirit is not broken. Many of the news outlets had much to say about the hostage release deal, and specifically about the Palestinian prisoners that were released at the same time.
Our camera crews, our teams on the ground who were in East Jerusalem, for example, were not allowed to enter the homes of some of these people who have been released, some of these prisoners, including yesterday when they tried to interview a 17-year-old boy who was taken away for throwing stones.
Part of the deal, as I repeated and I said earlier and I will repeat again, was that this wouldn't be a celebration, because the release of attempted murders, and when we're talking about a stone, we're talking about boulders that open people's heads. So let's put things in their place. And so part of the deal was that there wouldn't be fanfare around the release of attempted murderers, especially near the towns of the people that they tried to murder.
Propaganda is always something to look out for in war, which is exactly why we're making these videos. We realize that truth and lies are often hard to spot. For example, the testimony of this young Palestinian that was released from prison just a few days ago.
محمد شو اللي صار معك بالضبط؟
فاتوا علينا وحدة الكيتر ففاتوا بلش يضرب في عند الزيت وعلى اساس يروح على واحد ثاني ضل يضرب في الفاظ لزق في ايدي كسرات.
There's an important issue though. Just one day before this interview, he was on camera during his release from prison, and his hands seemed just fine. Also, Azraya Bes was released in exchange for a child hostage. Palestinian media showed this picture illustrating what she looked like before she went to an Israeli jail and how she came out. Everyone with half a heart would wonder, what are these Israelis doing to these poor Palestinian prisoners? But the truth is that the after photo are the injuries that she incurred from a failed car bomb attempt in 2015. Please don't fall for these lies, but keep your eyes open. Many hostages have been released over the last few days, but many are still kept in Gaza. One of them is 10-month-old Kfir and his family. We want to ask you to continue to pray that all the hostages may soon be released. And we want to encourage you to keep seeking the truth.